I genuinely can't contain my excitement, and throughout the community, a lot of people are just super ecstatic based on what happened in chapter 985. Now, if it wasn't as clear in the title, we will be talking about spoilers here. Spoilers from the chapter. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you can dip out right now because, again, I will be getting into spoilers from the chapter because a lot of the discussion is based on the chapter. So, I'll give you a second. Now, the code should be clear. We can get into it. Now, I'm not going to get into the details of the chapter too much. The purpose of this is to somehow try to dispel the notion of like the major talking point from the chapter, the thing everyone was talking about, because it was everywhere. It was indeed everywhere. Is he dead or is he not? Upon the live reaction, it was brilliantly done by Oda. I think how he set it up, just how abrupt it was. King holding out the sheath, Kaido slicing Orochi's head off, beautifully and masterfully done. But that leaves us with the question, what is he dead or not? Again, in my live reaction, I said he probably isn't dead. And I still feel that. I feel like he isn't dead. Of course, there are not that many relevant plot lines for Orochi, right? I don't see that in many ways in which it could go. But I think in Wano in general, right? Specifically, the tale that's been passed down, or just what Oda has been highlighting time and time again. The kids are suffering because of the sins of their fathers, from Orochi to Kanjuro to Yamato, now Momonosuke. Based on what your father, what your bloodline went through, we can't forget Kiku and Izo. Like, everybody suffers because of their family history, their bloodline. Yamato's a bit more specific because she's suffering from her own father, right? So that's a bit weird. But regardless, Ace as well, he's kind of mixed into this, right? But I don't feel like Orochi's story is over. I think there has to be a bit more, I don't want to say suffering, but it seems like he got off a bit too easy with Kaido just beheading him, right? Because Orochi and everything he's done, I'm not saying he has to just suffer the entire time or for the rest of his life, but I think there hasn't been any understanding of the things he did wrong. There's really been no conclusion to his story and everything he went through in Wano. That's one of the reasons why I think Orochi definitely isn't dead. But let's talk about Zoans, right? Specifically, Mythical Zoans. Now, we know this. Most of us should know this. In regards to Mythical Zoans and Zoan fruits in general, or I suppose devil fruits overall, Mythical Zoan users are the most rare in One Piece. We have literally in canon, in story, not even five confirmed, 5 almost confirmed mythical devil fruit users. Kaido is the only one that's kind of like, yeah, more than likely he's a mythical, but we're not sure, but more than likely, right? The 5 mythical zone users are Marco, Sengoku, more than likely Kaido, Katarina Devon, and Orochi. Now, what do all of these people have in common? Well, let's start with Marco. Marco, we know he has the Tori Tori no Mi, the Phoenix fruit, and Marco not only has the ability to turn into a phoenix, a beautiful, elegant phoenix, it's just one of the prettiest transformations ever, but Marco can also heal, not only himself, but other people with a special ability, right? That's something from Marco the Phoenix, the former right-hand man, former, I guess, captain, whatever, former right-hand man of the Whitebeard Pirates. Next, the Hito Hito no Mi Maru Daibutsu Sengoku, he can transform into a giant Buddha, but he also uses shockwaves. So he's a Zoan, a mythical Zoan that can transform into a giant Buddha, and he uses shockwaves. That is Sengoku. Kaido's fruit, again, we don't know exactly what it is, but he transformed into a mythical dragon, an eastern dragon, and Kaido is out here shooting hyper beams. He is literally shooting hyper beams, and he is a Zoan, mythical Zoan, more than likely. Right, that's Kaido. The Ino Ino no Mi Maru Kyubi no Kitsune, that is eaten by Katarina Devon, and for her she transforms into a fox, but she also has the ability to take on other identities or to change her appearance. That's a special ability that Katarina Devon has. And finally, the Hebi Hebi no Mi Maru Orochi, or specifically, let me clarify, Maru Yamato no Orochi, eaten by Kurozomi Orochi. There hasn't been a confirmed special ability. Now, when we go back to Orochi's transformation, right? When he transformed into Capital with Kyoshiro and Hiyori and all this stuff, well, Konosaki at that time, something that was weird, or something that I noticed when he transformed, is that he had 8 heads, obviously, but each head seemed to have a different personality. That's what was going on. They had different personalities. You could tell the main personality, the main one, that was Orochi, because it had the crown on its head. Would it be interesting if the special ability or the special effect that Orochi's devil fruit grants him is that if you cut one of his heads off, another personality basically comes into control, right? On some weird Split, not sure if you've seen Split, the movie where, you know, they have different personalities within one body, with this fully transformed Zoan form being 8 heads. It's not that far-fetched that if you cut off one head, another personality could take form or could take control on some Parasite the Maxim type shit, right? That could lead into something even more interesting. Let's say one of the heads, right, takes control, and this head is a lot more competent or a lot more formidable than Orochi's regular personality is. That could then make Orochi into a formidable, not only ally, but I guess opponent for someone that wields a sword. I'm not going to say who. It could be anyone, right? It could be a good fight with Yamato versus Orochi, but at this point, if Kaido cuts down Orochi, Kaido no longer has any use for Orochi. People were trying to slander Kaido by saying, well, Kaido is incompetent. Kaido knows nothing about what Orochi's been doing or Orochi's powers for 20 years. If Orochi's alive, I don't think we can go there, right? It's been 20 years, but Orochi, he doesn't fight. Kaido is his muscle, so why would Orochi ever get into any squabbles or fight at all? And the only way to know about a special ability is to have it activate. If the only way for this to activate is to cut one of his heads off, there are not that many opportunities for this to happen over a span of 20 years even. But back to Orochi and his special effect. I think absolutely and definitely he's not dead. It's just a bit premature for Orochi. Very cool panel again, and I don't think this is a bad thing if Orochi does come back, because it's not the same feeling I get from other teased deaths, right? I think this is a moment in which Kaido is finished with him, and it's more shown to sever the ties of Kaido and Orochi, and that's obviously leading to a bigger discussion in regards to them going back to Wano capital and the encapsulating war that's going to happen in Wano or in New Onigashima. But for Orochi, bro, he has to have a special ability with his devil fruit. Oda has shown that in every single mythical Zoan fruit we have seen. Why would Orochi not have one? Marco, Sengoku, Katarina Devon, Kaido, why would Orochi not have a special ability or special effect along with being a Zoan? He has 8 heads. His head specifically got cut off, by the way. Kaido could have sliced him in half. He could have like pierced his heart. Oda showed Kaido slicing his head off, and I think that was on purpose to show or to give it some more leeway in regards to Orochi coming back or indeed being alive. I tried to dig a bit deeper into Japanese mythology in regards to Yamato no Orochi, and there wasn't much there in regards to special effects, because I think people are saying Yamato no Orochi is a Hydra. I'm not seeing that at all in regards to Japanese mythology. Of course, there in regards to Yamato no Orochi specifically and that whole lore, it's a whole story about Susanoo, Amaterasu, Yato no Kagami. Like it's a whole thing there in regards to how they killed Yamato no Orochi. It involved decimating all of the heads, right? Cutting all the heads off. And for Oda, how he does things, it's never one-to-one. He never pulls everything from a specific story or a real world thing, right? He pulls some things, like for Blackbeard or for Whitebeard, it's like he's mixing and matching different ancient lore. So in this case, I think for Orochi, using some One Piece logic and using what the history of the mythical zones from what we've seen so far, he's alive. He's definitely alive. But then that leads to, again, other conversations in regards to what he does once he's revealed to be alive. I'm gonna just say it doesn't take away from the moment if Orochi is alive, because one of the best moments, like I think, in One Piece in recent memory, and obviously it has major implications for the future. Quickly before we end this, I want to talk about like some of the talking points in regards to Kaido and his purpose for actually doing this. Why does he kill Orochi here? Well, someone mentioned he could have done this a while ago, right? But I think specifically this is a show for Kaido. He was using this as a moment to spruce up this execution from Momonosuke. He said that Orochi became expendable as soon as Kaido allied with Big Mom, because then his goals changed. At that point, Kaido was, focused on his mission in regards to growing his Zoan army and creating the world's greatest army, which I'll get into more tomorrow once the official gets released. But now he has Big Mom. I believe Kaido feels like he's achieved his goal in regards to creating the ultimate army. He added another Yonko and her forces. So for him, he has a strong army. Now it's time to take on the world, right? But we'll talk about that a bit more tomorrow. I just really wanted to focus on Orochi here and the fact that I don't think his story is done. Some people really want Orochi to be dead, and I'm really not mad at that at all. Orochi's definitely a despicable person, but I think that's the easy way out. And then him having such a cool devil fruit and never really showcasing it in the story just isn't like Oda. Like if he had something like that, a mythical Zoan fruit, 1 of 5 in the series, and he doesn't show anything from it, I mean, come on. I mean, this is the only way he can really showcase Orochi, because Orochi, in regards to combative ability, doesn't seem to be that strong. What a better way to show off Orochi's ability than to have a Yonko. A Yonko uses his right-hand man's sword, cut his head off, and him still be alive. That's a crazy ability, but it makes sense in regards to the One Piece story. So in closing, I'm going to try to predict something, and this is going back to King's lore and King's sword. I'm gonna say King's sword, the name of it is Kusanagi. That's my prediction right now. The name of King's sword is Kusanagi. Of course, it's a bit different because Kaido did cut down Orochi with his sword, and I don't think Orochi's dead, but I think it would be a cool way to incorporate some of that because I don't think Orochi dies in Wano. I don't think he dies at all. I think he just stays in Wano and he learns of, or they put him to work and they try to dispel some of the ancient history of Wano where you just suffer because of the sins of your father. Of course, Orochi, he did things himself, but I think it's a bit too easy of him getting off. I think you have to break his dreams like Oda does. Like Oda basically used Luffy to do that. I think for Orochi, death would be too easy. You destroy his dreams by not having him being the prominent person that he so wants to be. With him creating different legends, taking Odin's legacy, his true sword style, like all that, you bring him back down to ground zero. And that's how you completely decimate Orochi's dreams and aspirations. And I think that suffering would be a lot more great than him just dying here. But yeah, that's about it for me. Guys, give me your thoughts. What do you think about it? Leave all your feedback below. I will definitely be streaming this week or next week, and we'll have an entire conversation about that. I'll read your comments. So comment away. Again, like the video. Thank you guys so much for your support. You know, I would not be this far without you guys. So I really appreciate it. Really wanted to say that. I really want to drive that home because sometimes in moments of reflection, you take things for granted, right? So I want to let you guys know, like, it's appreciated. Your support, everything. All right, so make sure to like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at BroccoliDAce, follow me on Instagram at Broccoli.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.